Are you about to have Venus entering Virgo, where it falls at? Now, when Venus is all about our desires, our pleasures, what we value, and of course, areas where we compromise and relate. Now, the moment when it gets to Virgo, that's the moment it's going to basically come down there and do its fall, aka it's going to be in a circumstance, a situation, a territory that is really not comfortable to basically be. So basically, you got to utilize everything that you have in that territory, every detail that you have that you can analyze and use for your benefits. Conquer with yourself and others to pretty much get the ball rolling. So this way, when Venus get back to Libra, where it's comfortable at, home at, peaceful at, it won't be in this situation. See, when Venus is a Virgo, for me, that's representations of, you got to be at that 9 to 5. You got to do this. You got to worry about that. You got to pretty much put yourself out there and kind of like do this. You pretty much, with Venus and Virgo, it's going to pretty much is like a situation where you're making a relationship a job. Now, it's all about your intent on how you utilize the job. So you use this intent to put yourself into a situation of, putting in the work, applying the work, aka you don't want to be here, but of course if you put yourself into a situation, of course a predicament where you can kind of like, okay, let me do what I gotta do to be in a better situation, in a more comfortable situation when Venus get back into Libra. But this is pretty much all about you during this time when it comes to these energies. Now this is gonna be representations of what you pretty much need to start worrying about, and of course getting more organized with, getting more structured with, being more consistent with, and making the scheduling system in this area when it comes to Venus and Virgo. So wherever you got Venus and Virgo at, this is something that you gotta have an area and location where you're gonna value it, appreciate it, love it, no matter what. Feel me? You gotta act like and pretend like you love it. But of course, everything starts with the heart. But you just using these energies to kind of like get you to the next references, get you to the next bus stop station. This way you can pretty much go ahead and, of course, do what you got to do to go ahead and pick up that brand new tire, that brand new car, that brand new rim. For me, you got to basically start from the bottom, make your way up to the top. So that's how it's being played out when it comes to these transits and, of course, these alignments that you basically are about to sniff up in it. Feel me? But we ain't talking about the coke, but we just making references as far as what we're going to be basically breathing in our system when it comes to these seasons and these rotations. Feel me? But of course, we in Virgo season. For me, we still kind of like finishing things up, and we're about to have this full moon on this coming Saturday. So you about to have the moon entering Capricorn. So we pretty much been getting spoiled when it comes to these grand air trines, grand earth trines, and grand fire trines, and a little bit of grand water trines wherever we got Cancer and Scorpio at. In the South Node Scorpio, for me. But yeah, we about to run down these houses and we're gonna get into these tarot card readings and see what it's hitting for all Zodiac signs. Now, Virgo, in your first house, you need to get your personal life order and in check. Now, if you got this Venus here, you're gonna go through some ups and downs when it comes to your personal life. What can help you is your 7th house, Pisces. Add a little bit of dream, fantasy towards that spectrum. Because when you talk about Earth, never forget your image, never forget your imagination. Always remember to apply those two together. You gotta add the fire, you gotta add the water, you gotta add the air, you gotta add the earth. But in this spectrum, you need to focus on your first house and create that balance, aka 7th house. Add a little bit of dreams and fantasies when it comes to the things you relate to. Now, if you got to see your 2nd house, Venus and Virgo in your 2nd house, you pretty much need to start worrying, of course, get more, down to earth and practical when it comes to the things you value, and of course, be realistic with these things. And also, utilize your 8th house. Stay down until you come up. Add some dreams and imaginations and fantasies behind closed doors. And apply that towards your 2nd house a little bit. You got this in your 3rd house. You're going to go to some ups and downs when it comes to your environment and, of course, the things you're worrying about when it comes to your friends. Now, if you use the Venus and Virgo energies in your 3rd house, be a little bit more practical and, of course, learn how to be a little bit more practical when it comes to your environment, of course, your way of correlating and valuing and, of course, applying the pleasures and desires that you'll be at. Now, use your 9th house. Look at the bigger picture. Add meanings and reasons towards your dreams and imaginations and fantasies. Got this in your 4th house. You need to come up with a new way of valuing home, family, and privacy. And, being in service and kindness towards home and family. Now, also, use your 10th house, your status, which you're known for, and, of course, add a little bit of dream, imaginations, fantasies with that. Now, if you got this in your 5th house, you pretty much need to start valuing, appreciating your creativity, your talents, and, of course, your fun entertainment, and, of course, enjoyment, and, of course, entertain others. Now, if you could utilize your 11th house, add a little bit of dreams, imagination towards the things you associate yourself with, you'll get the ball rolling. Got to see your 6th house. Come up with, this is pretty much going to have the power, control to pretty much, worry about the right things when it comes to your work, scheduling, assessing your work, your health, and your routines. If, of course, you utilize a little bit of your 12th house, add some dreams and fantasies towards there, you're going to have all the power control to pretty much have that charge to blend those two together. If you got to see your 7th house, you may basically go to the extremes when it comes to your relationships, which means you may basically go through some ups and downs that go to your relationships. But what's going to basically help you is putting faith, hope, and belief within yourself and applying that towards your 7th house. Feel me? You got to love yourself in order for you to basically love anybody else. Now, if you got to see your 8th house, you pretty much need to start valuing and appreciating your desires, your passions, your motivations, your intent, your willpower, and of course, you need to stay down until you come up. And what's going to help you is pretty much putting dreams and fantasies and imagination towards the surface, or things that you work on, things that you ground yourself with, in the seeds and areas and locations you plant seeds at. Now, if you got this in your 9th house, you pretty much need to start worrying. Now, if you got Venus and Virgo in your 9th house, this is a square. This is a learning aspect. So pretty much you need to learn how to appreciate and value and look at the bigger picture when it comes to your moralities, your meanings, your reasons, your purpose, your beliefs, and your faith. Also, you're going to go through a whole lot of ups and downs, and of course, you're going to go through a lot of experiences when it comes to these things that you value and appreciate. What can pretty much help you is you put in the form of dream, imaginations, and fantasies when it comes to your environment, your surroundings, your friends, and of course, the individuals that you kind of like communicate and of course associate yourself with. Now, if you got Venus and Virgo in your 10th house, Venus and Virgo, you need to pretty much come up with a new way of valuing and appreciating, a new way of pretty much catering towards your status, your career, your goals, your duties, your obligations, and put yourself out there and see how your status, your career, and goals can help other individuals. And you pretty much need to add a little bit of emotional connections with it when it comes to your 4th house. Dreams, imaginations, fantasies. For me, add some faith, hope, and belief and luck in that area, and you'll be all right. Now, if you got Venus and Virgo in your 11th house, you need to put yourself into a category and a location of valuing and appreciating your associations and the things that you can kind of like do to pretty much help them and get organized and situated in that area. Now, you're also going to go through some ups and downs when it comes to your associations on that totality. Now, what could kind of like help you out a little bit is your 5th house. Put in some faith, hope, and belief in some form of dreams and imaginations and fantasies towards your creative endeavors, your talents, your gifts, your expressions, aka get yourself right first before you associate yourself with the world, aka focus on your creativity, focus on the things you can do, focus on the things you can pretty much cater towards, get yourself right, then express that when it comes to your associations. And last but not least, you got Venus and Virgo in your 12th house. Now, you're going to go through some ups and downs in a circumstance, situation, and location in this area because, Venus and Virgo is also in the 12th house. I mean, Venus also overindulged in the 12th house as well, too. So, it's home there. Feel comfortable there. But also, being that it's in Virgo, it's going to go through some ups and downs. It's going to go through some extreme double energies in this area right here in location. Now, what you pretty much need to do in this area and location is value and appreciate your intuition, your subconscious, and what you got pretty much going on with inside of yourself. Go with inside yourself, value and appreciate your inner world, and understand that you need to love and appreciate yourself first inwardly. Then when you're done with doing that, you can go ahead and of course utilize your 6th house, add some form of dreams and connections there when it comes to your work, practicality, consistency, and of course your scheduling system. Blend those two together and of course make that dream come true down to reality. And the better you can pretty much do that, the better you basically be on your 1 and 2, and of course the better you will pretty much get things balling and rolling and flowing when it comes to your constellation in that area and of course location. And now that's going to pretty much be the energies when it comes to the houses. We're going to basically get into these tarot card readings.